Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Brandon in Biloxi, live here on YouTube. Alright, everybody, I want you to get ready. Fasten your seatbelts for the highest rated, most watched Brandon in Biloxi on YouTube that you've ever seen. Tonight, we got a special guest, Keith KT Trimble. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. First, I want to send my same normal shout out to Matt and Tommy on 1490, 1640 The Team here in Biloxi, 4 to 6 on local radio Monday through Friday. Listen up to us and listen to all the ideas we got about whether or not there's going to be football next year, and if not, listen to our awesome idea about how we're going to create a 32-team Madden NFL league and play it out like a regular league would. It's going to be hot. But first, let me introduce the man who knows more about sports and has forgotten more about sports than most of us will ever know. So let's welcome to the show, Keith KT Trimble. How you doing today, Keith?
I'm doing good, brother. Just living another dream, man. Just enjoying life and ready to talk some sport, like usual.
All right. How's that weather out there in Nevada?
It's not bad, man. You know, it's a whole lot better than where we were back in Omaha. No snow and clear skies. I'm loving it.
I heard that. I did. Now, I've been telling some folks, and I'd like you to touch on it real quick. I've been telling some folks that you were good enough to be on the Madden bus. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, that's no lie. I would honestly say my Madden skills are right up there with the best of them. It's a shame that I did not try out and attempt to get on that bus. I know I could have done really well on that tournament, maybe even won the whole thing. But, you know, we'll see. My skills are not diminished. Maybe I'll enter and try to win it next year.
All right, KT. I told you I had a surprise for you, brother, and here it goes. Throughout the show, I'm going to have 3 random trivia questions just to prove the strength of your knowledge to sports fans everywhere. And what we call this show, Keith, is we call it the unbiased way to look at sports, and I know you know all about that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Completely unbiased from our standpoint.
Here's your first question. Name the 4 members of the Jets secondary and tell me where they went to school.
Okay, let me start with Antonio Cromartie out of Florida State.
Okay.
Let me get on the other side, Mr. Darrell Revis. He went to the University of Pitt.
2 for 2.
We've also got the safety back there, Jim Leonard.
Okay.
He came from Baltimore. I'm not 100% sure on what college he went to, but I know he did come from Baltimore along with Rex Ryan.
Right.
And that 4th guy back there, oh, geez. You know, I may have to take a pass on that. I did get 3 out of 4, though. Who's the 4th guy?
Can I say Boomer Sooner?
Don't even tell me. Rodney Poole out of Oklahoma.
There you go. There you go, my man. Look at him. On fire. All right. KT, first thing I want you to hit on for us tonight is, can you give us your opinion about the Jeff Fisher era being over? And also, what do you think about why they didn't keep Vince Young since they were going to get rid of Jeff Fisher?
Yeah, isn't that the strangest thing? I thought it was either it's me or him, and it ended up being both of them. I mean, what's that? First they let go of Vince Young, so we just assumed Jeff Fisher's going to stay, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, Jeff Fisher's out too. So now they're stuck with no QB and no coach. And oh, by the way, from what I'm hearing, the whole reason why Jeff Fisher's gone is because he was upset that he had to let go of his defensive coordinator and a couple other assistants. So I don't know what's going on in Tennessee. Is this going to be Oakland Raiders East, basically?
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is I heard this on the way home from work, and I thought, okay, so now where do they go? Because pretty much every assistant who was pretty much up there as far as coaching candidates have already been hired. So who are they going to get to come in there and coach now? If we even play next year.
You think Gruden or Cowher have any interest in the Tennessee job?
You know what? If Vince Young were still there, I bet they would have some sort of interest, but why would you put yourself in that position? There's no quarterback. All they've got is a running back. That's it. That's really all they got.
True, their defense really took a hit last year, too, with Hainsworth being gone. And I think they're a mid-500 team without Fisher there. I think he motivates them enough to get them to that 8-9 win seasons. But I think without him and without Young, I think you're looking at a 7-9, 6-10 team.
Yeah, I think next year they'll be picking in the top 10 of the draft because, I mean, you know, numbers don't lie. Vince Young was a winner as a starting quarterback, and then he's gone, and Jeff Fisher, the guy that, you know, basically motivated them to get wins, is now gone too. So who do you turn to? There's no more leaders on that team. You know, more Keith Bullock, Albert Haynesworth, all you guys, they're gone. So I guess this is just starting over from scratch with Bud Adams, who might be one of the crookiest owners in the league, except for Jerry Jones and Al Davis.
Absolutely, absolutely. In the sake of time, Keith, we're going to keep moving on here. We got our second trivia question for you, and I know how big of a bandwagon fan for this team, and that's your only hint I'm giving you about this question. On Rivals.com, and I know you're a big fan of Rivals, we all are.
Of course.
In the top 10 pro-style quarterbacks, one team has 2 quarterbacks committed to that team. What university is that?
Oh, you don't even got to finish that. It's USC, so I don't know how they're doing it with the fact that they have no bowl game coming up. Don't pull these guys. How are they doing this? What can they do it? I mean, how is he pulling these guys? This is supposed to be, you know, the hammer was supposed to get dropped, and the NCAA is supposed to be laughing, going, take that USC, but yet they keep pulling in these 5-star recruits. I don't get it.
Only thing I can think of is maybe because the Kiffins have NFL ties. USC, you know, they're the NFL factory machine. You take USC, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida. You go to any one of those schools, you know you got a good chance of going into the NFL. But
absolutely right on that. I think that is USC's only selling point at this point. And you know what? Kids are doing a lot different than they were back then. Now, basically, you know, let's be honest, these kids aren't playing for bowl games. They're playing to get. And there's only a handful of schools that you go to if you want to get the best training to get to the NFL. USC just happens to be one. So that just goes to show you that these kids, regardless of bowl games, wins, losses, whatever, they want to go to the schools that give them the best chance to get to the NFL. And if they happen to win a bowl game or two along the way, or even a championship along the way, then that's just extra. But the real goal is to be a first draft pick, and that's why these kids are still continuing to go to USC.
All right, our next question for you, Keith, is I know you watching the Senior Bowl coverage, and you saw that the 2 running backs out of the state, Oklahoma State's Kendall Hunter and DeMarco Murray from OU. Now we all know, and we'll give it up to the fact that the SEC is the best conference, top to bottom. But the credibility of the Big 12 has to be rising with the fact of how many players you're starting to put in on an elite level to the NFL. What's your thoughts on that?
There's no question about it. I mean, all you got to do is just go back and look at the most recent drafts, and you see Big 12 guys all over the first round. I mean, just as recently as last year, we had, 4 guys go in the top 5?
Yeah. 4 out of 5.
I mean, there's just no questioning the talent of the Big 12. And honestly, I think talent-wise, the Big 12 is just right up there with the SEC. It's just we don't, you know, you haven't really seen an SEC Big 12 bowl game championship since the Texas-Alabama one. And even in that game, Colt McCoy goes out and the backup nearly brings them back. So what does that say talent-wise? I'd say it's an even playing field. Absolutely.
And I will give great praise to the SEC that when they have matched up in the Big 12, mostly against Oklahoma or Texas in the national championship game, they might have won the game, but there are not blowouts like when they're playing these Big Ten schools and other schools. They are competitive games. The Florida and Oklahoma game was the first game to be tied going into the 4th quarter. So there's quality players on both sides of the ball. I just think the SEC is a little deeper, but the Big 12 is top-heavy for sure.
Absolutely. Our Big 12 top teams versus SEC top teams, if you look at the guys who are being recruited, it's the same, right across the board. Mostly guys out of Texas, Florida, states like that. We're all recruiting the same guys as far as the top teams in the Big 12 and the top teams in the SEC. It's just where the SEC gets us is that their bottom teams might have a slight edge over our bottom teams. And that's really the only advantage they have. That and the fact that the NCAA promotes the SEC a little bit better than they do the Big 12, but we're not going to get into that.
Right. Now, your last trivia question for you. And then we're going to go on to your little talk about the Super Bowl, and we're going to, if you're welcome to, and if you'd like to, we're going to bring you back next Thursday for a Super Bowl preview. And but we'd like to get a little Super Bowl talk in after this trivia too. Now,
absolutely, next Thursday I'll see it. So, on the question.
All right, awesome. Caleb Haney, the quarterback that came in third string for the Bears, which we won't talk about how that whole process went down. What university did he go to?
Oh, goodness, that's on the tip of my tongue. Can I get the conference?
You could, besides it's not a big enough conference that I know which one it is.
Oh, we were just talking about this guy too, because
one hint.
Really, no one.
One hint. They play annually against a team from the Big 12.
Oh, man. You know what? My knowledge isn't exactly on point today, so I'm going to have to pass on this, even though I know we just talked about this and where this kid came from.
And they played a triple overtime game against Mr. Former Boise State Dan Hawkins. Colorado State.
Colorado State, huh?
So wow. you tell me how much tape the Packers had on those old Colorado State games.
Exactly. You know what? The kid actually, for stepping in that spot, the kid didn't do too bad. He almost brought him back, except for that, that pick to B.J. Raji, Mr. 350-pound coverage guy back there. But
love me some B.J. Raji.
I applaud his effort, considering the other quarterback supposedly has a sprained MCL, but he was seen walking around Beverly Hills today. So you tell me where's the sprain in that?
Yeah, we won't go on Mr. Cutler. We won't go. They made enough excuses on that ESPN for him, and we're going to replace Mike and Mike one day, and then we'll tell it like it is. But here we go. I need you to give me, you got about a minute each here. I need you to give me about a minute each on Pittsburgh and Green Bay. Don't give me your pick. We'll do the pick next week. But just give me about a minute each on each of those teams.
Well, you know what? I think it's going to be a little different from when they played last year. Last year was just an absolute shootout. Pittsburgh won 37-36 on the last-second touchdown from Ben Roethlisberger to White Wallace. Both quarterbacks combined threw for over 900 yards. I don't see that being the case this game, considering how Troy Polamalu didn't play in the last game. So that automatically right there is going to take some yardage off of Aaron Rodgers. Just the simple fact that he's back there and his presence alone makes Aaron Rodgers think twice before throwing down that sideline. As far as the game, I think it's all Pittsburgh, Rashard Mendenhall, got to get him the ball. It's just a proven fact. When he goes off, that team is awfully successful, and they just have that classic formula of ground and pound, play good defense, and make a couple plays in the air, and that's their formula to winning. Green Bay is they're probably the most intriguing team to come through the Super Bowl in a while. They've got this insane pass rush led by Clay Matthews that we saw shut down the most mobile quarterback in Mike Vick. Now, I know the challenge is going to be a little different with Big Roethlisberger back there, but I don't think their defense is going to be good enough to stop Mendenhall and Roethlisberger making plays when they need to make plays. So I see it being a very low-scoring game, and I see it coming down to both the running games of each team, where I think that edge in that department.
Oh, well, man, KT, we appreciate you. We give you a shout-out every week here. We'll talk to you next Thursday, brother, and we'll definitely see you in Vegas.
For sure. Oklahoma, Texas, River Rivalry. I am going to make a request to the Big 12 that that game be the last game of the season for both of those teams. Because it seems like after that game, both teams just have a huge letdown, and they have such a build-up to that game. I really wish that game would be at the end of the year like Ohio State, Michigan.
All right, man. You have a good night, brother.
Man, thanks a lot. I'll see you Thursday.
All right. All right, folks, that was KT, Keith Trimble, coming at you. We appreciate you watching the show tonight, folks. We're claiming 1,000 views, you guys. We're claiming 1,000 views. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. It's the best show on YouTube. It's one of the best sports shows you're going to watch. We love you. Thank you. Bless you. And God bless you. Have a great night.